Well, hello everybody. HETMA Presents continues its role at ISE 2026. We are live in the HETMA booth, and it is continues to be day 3, which has been dubbed Hangover Day. I'm not sure if that's an official thing, but we're seeing a little bit more of that today, I think. So with that being said, it's a busy show, and so we're so glad to be able to bring more voices out to people. So Henry, Theo, thank you for coming to visit with us. Would you introduce yourselves? Who are you? What do you do?
Thank you very much. So I'm Henry Brown. I'm Senior Marketing Executive at Igloo Vision, and we're here at ISE with Fujifilm.
Hi, nice to be with you today, Ryan. I'm Theo Penty. I'm Sales Director for the EMEA region at Igloo Vision, and I've been. The last time I sat down with the HETMA team, I was actually running the educational division, so I set up the education part of Igloo's business, which is now being looked after in the US by Rebecca Wade, if you know her, and in the UK by Josh Hallett, and sadly he's not here today.
Well, those are people we know well, and yes, Rebecca took over a podcast at Infocom this last year, filibustered the thing. I don't know how long that went on for. So
I don't know if it's like a tornado or she's everywhere all at once.
Yes, I would agree. All right, so when trying to talk about technology that people would be able to see if they were here, but not, so many people don't get the chance to come to these trade shows. Yours is a particularly challenging one to just talk about because it's very much an experiential type thing. So let's start with this. When you are trying to describe what an Igloo Vision installation is, right? When you're trying to say, this is the experience that we can drive between our design, software, integrating hardware, how do you go about going from zero to understanding on what you guys do?
That's very difficult from the marketing side, making it easy to understand. So I think the thing that I'm saying to people that resonates with people a lot is it's a VR headset but without the headset.
Yeah.
So you come into it, it's a three-dimensional space all around you, and there's no additional equipment required, so it's a shared experience. You're still face-to-face with people, you're still experiencing immersive content, but there's no barriers to it.
Yeah, nicely said.
It's not bad.
It's not Hangover Day for you, Henry. So
I wasn't going to put you on Front Street, but you did it yourself.
Oh, so me neither. It's a kind of shared immersion is the key for Igloo Vision. Yeah. So it's about designing spaces that your faculty, your staff, your students want to come into. So they're on campus, they're enjoying your amazing facilities, and you're transporting them to anywhere they can go in the world. So if you don't like VR headsets, or there's not the right technology for you, or maybe it's just not right for your particular applications, that's where Igloo fits in. We come in, we deliver a physical immersive room with projectors, sometimes LED, surround sound systems, control systems, and we make software that gets all the content that you need and all the data that you need into it. So it's great in universities because you've got so much data at your disposal, you've got so much technical expertise and technicians on hand. We are kind of think that we're kind of providing you with a gateway to the world so you can take your students wherever they need to go.
That's I love you guys. You nailed it, right? That's exactly the conversation we had with people at our institution. So I think the key with all of this, right, is the software that makes, so you can build an amazing immersive space, but if it's hard to use, difficult to get content into, if it doesn't do anybody any good if you have to have if an instructor can't use it, right? And it feels like your guys' key is this software you've built to put people in this environment, do the technical things that need to happen, but then make it very user-friendly is kind of one of the things that makes it really accessible. So I happen to know that, there's a major release coming on this front because we are very excited about it. So what do people need to know about how, your systems are software-driven, not just cool hardware installations?
So on a sort of top level, I think other immersive installations might require kind of a man behind the curtain, making it all happen, and that's not the case with Igloo. So the idea is that you get your content in, the software formats it correctly, it displays well in your space, and you can get straight to the benefits of immersive content. And that's always kind of been the ethos behind the Igloo Core Engine, that ease of use, accessibility, capability, and flexibility. And with 2.0, which is the software that we're soft launching at ISE, full launch later this year, it's all about taking that ethos and building on it even more, so it's even easier to use, even more flexible, even more accessible. That's kind of the top level. We'll dive into some of the features later on, but
And it works the same way in whatever size, shape, geometry room you have as well. So we as a business are really keen. We have a kind of core range of products that we can usually get to site within 6 to 8 weeks of an order. But we also do lots of custom. So I think the installation we've done with yourselves at Yavapai, I think that's got 4 walls plus floor plus ceiling projection. So you couldn't be
the first one in the United States.
You
Hashtag the first one in the United States.
Possibly the world. You can't be more immersed than that.
Yeah.
But many systems we build are cylindrical. Some of them are 180 degrees. Some of them more or less immersive with floor. Ceiling's quite out there. It's really pushing the boundaries. But that software suite, it drives all those different systems. So if you're a university and you have maybe one system in your medical faculty for training paramedics or first responders, and you have another system in the architectural department looking at kind of 3D design and walking through sites, and you have a third one in your library for general implementation of different technologies, then your staff are learning to use one piece of software that operates all the same content the same way, and you kind of get the ability to deploy your content and your assets to them all regardless, even if they're different sizes.
Well, you're touching a little on there, obviously ways that you've seen colleges and universities use these, and a key decision for us to go with Igloo was all the examples of higher education institutions that have them, how they use them, and there's actually kind of a community of Igloo users, that exist and share. What do you see as kind of the most, what are the key uses that you see for your systems in higher education?
It is so broad and so varied, and I would say if you want to make your own inspiration, if there's ever a subject area or an experience that you've wanted to give but you physically can't because it's too dangerous or too expensive or too time consuming to create, that's really kind of where the sweet spot is, and where our technology can add really a lot of value to the student experience. Further on that, most things you might be doing in a virtual reality headset kind of port quite well. So anything where it's important to understand a 3D world or spatial context is the sweet spot. So kind of key areas for us, we do a lot in kind of architecture and design disciplines, so that might be a faculty of engineering looking at large capital infrastructure projects and like design layouts, etc. That moves into architecture a little bit too, so when you're using 3D design tools like Revit or Navisworks or the Autodesk suite, you can pipe those models in and do your walkthroughs, and it's amazing what you can spot in a design when you're actually standing within it rather than looking at it on a 2D monitor. We do a fair bit in medical training too. So that's a really important one. You might have your kind of mannequins and medical equipment scenarios within the space, but you can then use the added context on the walls to promote realism, kind of increase the pressure on those kind of trainees going into the space so they have a more authentic and emotional experience of the simulations they're undertaking. And if I was to choose a third, it would be somewhere, we as a company are not quite sure what we call this yet, but it's where it goes somewhere kind of cross-curriculum. So sometimes into an innovation hub, sometimes into a library, where you're dipping in and out of all the different curriculum areas, and then you're asking your faculty across the board, what do you struggle to teach? And if you were to look at immersive, how could you do that a little bit differently? And then you find the calendar books up with every subject area.
So again, I love talking about me and ours. We're very excited, and part of ours is in a general use place. We're a community college in a rural area, right? This is where, but part of the decision that went into doing this was we're not buying one room as we do this. we started with 10 use cases, and it was basically like, we're buying at least these 10 rooms and other ones that people can think of, right? And that idea that we did 4K on the walls because it's a data visualization conference room, and we can cover, the wall in spreadsheets when we need to. We can take students to where they couldn't be. It can be a digital art experience, right? It can be all those things on the same day. You know what I'm saying? It can flip from one to the other. So
it can, and that's a good segue into some of our kind of 2.0 features. But I think you're also the first install for us to put the 4K projectors on the wall in. Mm-hmm. Are they from Epson?
Yes.
If I remember that right.
They are.
Oh, they're really, really nice projectors.
Yeah.
And,
I'm telling you, the experience, when people don't know what to expect, and we've done a job of trying to tease, but not really spoil it too much, they don't understand what they're walking into when they first come in. And you've got that brain chemical thing that says, I am somewhere else happens. And I think that's the key, right? With medical simulation you're talking about, you can simulate an emergency room thing in a bare classroom, or you can put them in a loud emergency room with chaos going on around them and have that experience, as if it was really happening.
I think that's a key differentiator with headsets. There's nothing wrong with headsets, but when you can bring them into the same immersive environment you get with a headset, but with the equipment as well and the face-to-face feedback, it's just taking things up another notch.
Yeah, it's immersive and collaborative, and then where the headset stuff we do, it's really hard to sync everybody into something. So, I could talk about this stuff all day. It's so much fun, we've got some photos and examples of what you guys are showing here in the Fujifilm booth. We'll share those and more information so that people can kind of visualize what we're talking about in this. But before we close, I have to ask. So, when you all are at a show like this, which it feels like the entire industry is in the same place at the same time. A lot of the conversations that we're having now seem to be less about what product label number, what's the specs, but what experience does it provide for students or for users. And so when you hear that, are you guys well, yeah, we've been doing that a long time. Thanks for catching up with us, or how does that feel?
It feels good, but I think we're a pretty humble bunch at Igloo Vision. It's a labour of love. We love our product. We love what we do. It's I think kind of key for us in this space is we're at the kind of interface of a couple of different emerging trends. There's an AV component, which is obviously really important. There's IT. There's virtual reality, which is a big hot topic at the moment. Quite a lot's happening in the world of VR. Which we don't need to get into now. And our technology kind of it sits at this kind of perfect intersection of all these different kind of things, and it's interesting on these stands, the conversations we have. One moment it's all about the projectors, the next it's what's about the experience, and the next it's, well, why would anyone have this? Hopefully it's obvious. And you're having all those three discussions simultaneously, but it's I think that's where you can make the most impact, really, because you're putting lots of different components together to make something really special. Yeah,
I love it. When you talk about an integrated technology experience, that's kind of, you guys are on it on that front. So I know it's a busy show. There's a lot going on, and we even had to shush the people around here because, things are starting to pick up this afternoon. So I appreciate y'all taking time to talk with us about what you make, and appreciate that I will agree, you all are a humble bunch, and it's such a tight-knit company, it's like it feels real personal. But thank you for creating this thing that lets us deliver experiences for faculty, staff, and students that we wouldn't otherwise be able to do.
Wow.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah. Really appreciate your time.
Great chat, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.